the invitation of awakening. You are not hearing this by accident. Among billions of souls traversing this lifetime, only a few arrive at the doorstep of remembrance. And of those few, fewer still are able to hear the sound behind the sound, the voice that comes not through words, but through silence. The voice that calls you not from outside but from deep within the still chambers of your spirit. This message is not for everyone. It is only for those with a particular blessing earned, not in this life alone, but across lifetimes of seeking, surrendering, and suffering with dignity. If your heart feels open right now, if something unnameable begins to stir as you hear these words, it means this: you have ripened. It means that in some other time, some other form, you once sat at the feet of the wise. You once touched the robe of the Dharma. You once bowed before the teachings of the Buddha. And now, the seeds planted long ago in sacred soil are beginning to bloom in you once again. This is not entertainment. This is a transmission. And you are being summoned. For those who are ready, please take this as a sign. And if your soul resonates with this moment, do these 3 things not for vanity, but as a sacred act of intention. Press like on this video not as a habit, but as a spiritual marker. By doing so, you declare, I have heard the call. I recognize the echo of truth. Subscribe not as a follower of content, but as one who is stepping into a sacred assembly of over 70,000 beings moving toward freedom, inner peace, and the awakening of all sentient life. In the comments, write the number 999A, sacred number signifying the end of the old karmic cycle and the birth of a new pattern of consciousness. When you write it, you acknowledge the wheel of suffering is coming to its close, and the Dharma code of your soul is being reactivated. And if you are meant to receive the full message of your soul is strong enough, still enough, and ready, enough, you will stay until the final word of the final part, because in that last moment, a secret rite of energetic activation awaits you, a ritual of silence, of breath, and of remembrance, offered only to those who complete the journey. But for now, just breathe, not to control the breath, but to witness it. Notice, the air enters without effort. Notice, the body rises without command. This is the sacred. The first teaching is not in the sutras, it is not in the temples, it is in this, the awareness of the breath. The Buddha taught that mindfulness of breathing is the path to the deathless. Why? Because the breath is always now, and the now is the only doorway into liberation. And so, in this first moment of our shared path, I invite you to return to where it all begins, your own awareness. No need to go anywhere, no need to do anything, no need to fix or achieve or prove. Just sit, just listen, just be, because that is the path. It doesn't begin in movement. It begins in stillness. And in stillness, you will meet the most important realization of all. You are already enough. You were born with Buddha-nature. You were born with the seed of awakening. You were born not to chase enlightenment, but to remember it. Your suffering has not been in vain. Every heartbreak has softened you. Every loss has carved out new space. Every mistake was a necessary part of the design. All of it has led you here. The sacred teachings say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But here's the secret. The teacher is not a person. The teacher is the moment, and this moment, this exact moment is your teacher. Let it speak to you. Let it breathe through you. Let it break you open gently, because the journey does not begin with striving. It begins with letting go. Let go of the identity the world handed you. Let go of the stories you've told yourself about what is possible. Let go of the shame you carry from other people's ignorance. Let go of the belief that you must earn peace. Peace is not earned, peace is remembered. And you, beautiful soul, are remembering now. You are remembering the part of you that existed before the first wound, before the conditioning. Before the craving, before the ego. You are remembering the quiet core of your being, the luminous presence that watches thoughts arise and fall like waves. This is not fiction. This is your essence. And when you touch this place, this still, spacious, wordless place, you will feel it, a deep sense of return. You will know, I am home. The great Zen teacher Dogen once said, enlightenment is intimacy with all things. Let that be your mantra. Intimacy with breath, intimacy with sound, intimacy with silence, intimacy with your own heart, intimacy with the divine. Do not rush this journey. Each word you hear in this series is a bell, a doorway, a cone. Let them open. something in you. Let them point not to ideas, but to experience. We are not here to gather more knowledge. We are here to gather more presence. And presence cannot be taught. It can only be lived. So live this moment. Let it be sacred. Let it be whole. The path has already begun. And you, dear one, are not behind. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Let the Dharma speak. Let the Spirit move. Let your soul receive. We walk now gently, mindfully. The next teaching, will you stay? Will you listen? Will you awaken? Then come. We begin now. The path of stillness and the wisdom of impermanence. Before you listen to these words with your ears, open the space behind your breath. There is a deeper hearing, one that does not come through sound. It comes through stillness. Stillness is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of awareness. And in that awareness, you will begin to feel what you already know, but have not yet remembered fully. Nothing you have ever lost was meant to stay. Nothing you are afraid of was ever real. Nothing you are becoming is separate from what you already are. The mind is like a river. Thoughts pass like leaves across its surface. Sometimes they whirl, sometimes they drift, sometimes they vanish beneath. But you are not the leaf. You are not even the current. You are the one watching it all. And from that place of awareness, something incredible begins to happen. You begin to witness your suffering not as a punishment, not as a mistake, but as a mirror. Suffering is the teacher that does not flatter. It shows you where you are attached, where you cling, where you resist the movement of impermanence. Doth. This is not a tragic word. It is the key to liberation. The Buddha said, all compounded things are impermanent. That includes your pain, your fears, your past identities, your mistakes, your story. When you realize that all things rise and fall, you stop gripping, you stop defending, you stop pretending that you are static. And in that surrender, you begin to float. You begin to flow with life rather than against it. Think about how much energy you've spent trying to hold things together, trying to protect an image, a reputation, a version of yourself. And now, you're being invited to do the opposite, to relax your grasp. To let the wave rise and fall without trying to hold the crest, to trust that what is leaving you is not taking something you need, but returning you to something you lost. This is why stillness matters, not because it helps you achieve more, but because it shows you that nothing needs to be achieved. You are not here to be fixed, you are here to be freed. Stillness is the beginning of that freedom. When the mind stills, karma surfaces. Not to punish, but to purify. Old thoughts may arise, emotions may swell, memories long buried may flash across your inner screen. Do not panic, do not run, do not suppress. Just watch. Witness them the way you would clouds on a still pond, rippling, reflecting, fading. Do not make them personal. They are not you. They are only echoes of choices, some made by you, some inherited through lifetimes. This is the law of karma. It is not a threat. It is a rhythm. Karma is simply the unfolding of intention. What you place in motion continues its cycle until you become aware. Awareness is the pause between karma and reaction. Awareness is where you reclaim your power. So breathe, inhale, pause, exhale, release. As you do, bring to mind something you've been resisting, a fear, a wound, a relationship, a failure. See it gently, welcome it like a guest at your temple gate. Bow to it, say inwardly, you, too, are my teacher. And then, let it go. Let it return to where it came from. Let it dissolve into the breath. This is how we move forward on the path, not with force, with reverence, with courage, with gentleness. You are not rushing toward enlightenment. You are sinking into it, falling inward, layer by layer, shedding skins of illusion until you are bare and beautiful in your truth. The great Zen master Shunryu Suzuki said, each of you is perfect the way you are, and you can use a little improvement. This is the paradox of the path. You are both the wave and the ocean. You are both whole and unfolding. You are both timeless and healing in time. And when you sit in that paradox, something divine occurs. Compassion arises. Compassion for yourself. First. Because now you understand. The mistakes were necessary. The confusion was sacred. The breakdown was part of the breakthrough. You are not behind. You are being unraveled, gently, by truth. The more you let go, the more space there is for light. The more you surrender, the more effortless life becomes. You'll Begin to notice it soon if not already. Small moments of peace where anxiety used to live, a softness in your tone, even when you're alone, a quiet joy arising in silence, unprovoked and unplanned. These are signs. You are aligning, you are returning, you are becoming, and all of this every moment of breath. Every act of presence is helping you build what the Buddha called the path of noble effort. Not effort of striving, but effort of presence, effort of kindness, effort of remembering. Remembering that you are a temple, a sacred vessel of truth, and you must not pollute this temple with self-hatred, with judgment, with addiction to false narratives. You must begin to purify, not with shame, but with stillness. Stillness is your sword now, your shield, your medicine, so come. Come again and again to this breath. Come again and again to this now. Let go of what you think you need to be. Let go of the drama, of becoming. Let yourself simply be. That is the doorway. That is the gate. That is where God meets you, not in your striving, but in your stillness. And if you stay on this path, if you continue to listen, to practice, to empty, then you will begin to feel something even deeper, the birth of your sacred service. Because this path is not just for you, it is through you. The world needs your stillness, your family needs your peace, your presence, grounded, unshaken as a lighthouse in the storm. And that too is awakening. In the next section, we will begin to walk through the Four Noble Truths not as ideas, but as invitations, as lifelines from suffering to liberation, as the root of all Dharma. But for now, breathe. Feel the quiet around your heart. Let it speak to you. You are no longer watching. You are participating. You are being prepared. And if you are still here, then this teaching was meant for you. You are ready. Let us continue. The truth beneath all suffering pours here, not just with your body, but with your mind. Let the swirling of thoughts slow. Let the urgency to understand begin to dissolve. Let yourself lean into the stillness that's beginning to form behind these words, because what you are about to hear is not another concept. It is not another idea for the mind to dissect. It is the sacred architecture of your freedom. It is the structure beneath your suffering. It is the map the Buddha walked, and the one you are now being invited to walk as well. The Four Noble Truths are not distant scripture. They are reflections of your own life. They live in your breath, your choices, your longing. They are both mirror and medicine. So listen gently now, not with the ear, but with the heart. The first noble truth, dukkha, there is suffering, not because life is broken, but because we misunderstand it. Suffering is not punishment. It is the friction between reality and resistance. The ache we feel when we try to hold what must pass, to fix what is meant to flow, to control what is meant to be surrendered. We suffer when we demand permanence in a world of change. We suffer when we attach to identity in a self that is always dissolving. We suffer when we forget that everything we crave is made of dust and shadow, and yet within the very act of suffering is an opening, the crack through which wisdom enters. Because when you finally stop trying to numb it, when you finally sit with it, suffering begins to whisper, "I'm not your enemy. I am your teacher. I am the gate." The second noble truth, samudaya, the origin of suffering, and its name is craving, not just desire, but grasping, attachment, a thirst that arises from the illusion of lack. You crave because you think something out there will complete you. You run because you think if you sit still, the emptiness will swallow you. But the emptiness is not your enemy. It is your womb. Craving is born from forgetting who you are. When you forget that you are already whole, you begin to chase wholeness through others. When you forget that peace is your nature, you search for it in pleasure. When you forget that love is your essence, you beg for it from those who do not know how to give it. This is the cycle. This is the wheel. Round and round. Birth and rebirth. Attachment and loss. Samsara. And every time you grasp, you tighten the knot. Every time you cling, you strengthen the illusion. But the Buddha, in his infinite compassion, did not stop at diagnosis. He gave the cure. The third noble truth, nirodha, is an end to suffering. You can be free, not just better, not just calmer, but free. The peace you seek is not at the end of effort, it is at the end of illusion. When you stop feeding the fire of craving, the fire dies. When you stop identifying with the storm, the sky returns. When you stop grasping at life, life begins to flow through you. Liberation is not far. It is not someday. It is now, here, in this breath. in this moment. If you are still enough, you can taste it, the spaciousness that lives beneath all thoughts. You can feel the lightness that comes when you stop trying to fix what was never broken. This is nirvana, not a place, but a state, not an escape, but an intimacy. Nirvana is not the absence of life. It is the full embrace of it, without clinging, without fear, without ego. And finally, the fourth noble truth, Magga, the path to the end of suffering. This path is not vague, it is precise. It is a guide for your feet. It is called the Noble Eightfold Path, and it is the way you turn truth into transformation. Right view, seeing clearly, without delusion. Right intention, moving with kindness, not grasping. Right speech, words that heal, not harm. Right action choices, aligned with compassion. Right livelihood, work that honors life. Right effort, steadiness, without striving. Right mindfulness, presence that does not wander. Right concentration, attention that leads to stillness. This is not a list to memorize, that is a life to embody. Each step is both journey and destination. Each choice you make in awareness is another stone on your path to liberation. And the beauty is this: you do not walk this path alone. Every step you take, the Buddha walks with you. Every time you return to breath, the Sangha surrounds you. Every time you choose truth over fear, the Dharma rises within you like dawn breaking through night. You are not powerless. You are awakening, and this awakening is not sudden, it is not lightning, it is light rising slowly but steadily through the layers of your being, layer by layer, story by story, shadow by shadow, until only presence remains. This is the sacred unfolding. This is the peeling away of illusion. This is what your soul came here to do. And so we return, again to silence, not empty silence, sacred silence, a silence in which everything is heard. Take one breath. Hold it gently, and let it go. With reverence you have now received the map. Let it settle in you. Let it marinate in your bones. Let it whisper to you. Throughout your day there is suffering. There is a cause. There is an end. There is a path. And you, beloved soul, are walking it. In the next section, we will begin our journey into mindfulness, not as a technique, but as a way of seeing. As the sacred gaze that transforms even washing the dishes into an act of worship. But, for now, rest. You have heard truth. You are ready. You are being guided. And you are not alone. The mirror of mindfulness, take a breath, not to change it, simply to know it. Feel the inhale, like the gentle lifting of a veil. Feel the exhale, like a leaf returning to earth. This is not just breath. This is life revealing itself. And through this revelation, you come face to face with one of the most sacred invitations of the spiritual path. Mindfulness. Not the mindfulness you've seen turned into trends or apps, but the mindfulness of the Buddha, the mindfulness of watching rain fall without commentary. The mindfulness of being fully present with a dying tree or a single bowl of rice. The mindfulness that turns your life into a mirror and your heart into a temple. Mindfulness, in its truest form, is not a technique. It is not something to do. It is the sacred act of remembering that everything is worthy of your full attention. The Buddha said, "This is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the realization of nibbana, namely, the four foundations of mindfulness. These four are mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of mind, mindfulness of phenomena, each one a doorway, each one a thread in the vast tapestry of awakening. And the first, mindfulness of body, it begins here, with the weight of your hands resting, with the temperature of air brushing against your skin, with the rising and falling of your chest. How often have you lived above your body, thinking, planning, worrying while the sacred wisdom of your flesh waited in silence? Your body is not an obstacle, it is an altar. In the soft ache of your joints, in the tremble of your hands, in the warmth behind your eyes, you can return to presence. You do not need to chant to begin. You do not need incense or robes or temples. You need only to be here, fully, with what is right now. That is mindfulness. And then we go deeper. Mindfulness of feelings. Not emotions, not yet, but the textures beneath them. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Each sensation arising and passing. You see, when you become mindful of feelings, you begin to break the spell of reaction. You begin to notice, oh, this is a moment of tension, and I can stay with it. This is a moment of joy, and I can observe it, without clinging. This is a moment of numbness, and even this can be met with presence. No longer a puppet pulled by moods and tides. Now, you are a witness, steady, awake, and then mindfulness of mind, the most elusive gate, because mind is both observer and observed. But with practice, you begin to notice its movements. Thoughts arise like birds in the sky. Some flock, some circle, some vanish before you even catch their shape, and you begin to ask, who is watching these thoughts? Who is naming them? If you can observe your thinking, then you are not your thinking. Let that settle. If you can observe your anger, you are not your anger. If you can observe your shame, you are not your shame. This is where the illusion of self begins to dissolve, not violently, not intellectually, but gently through presence. And finally, mindfulness of dhammas, or phenomena. This is mindfulness of the teachings themselves, seeing the three marks of existence: impermanence, nothing lasts, dukkha, pervades conditioned life, unatonal fixed self exists. This is the moment the veil drops. This is where the idea of me begins to fall apart, and something more beautiful emerges. Not selflessness as a loss, but selflessness as freedom, when there is no fixed I to defend. Suddenly all beings become part of you. Suddenly, the line between your suffering and the world's suffering disappears. Suddenly, compassion arises not as a duty, but as a natural response, because mindfulness, when sustained, flowers into compassion. True compassion is not sentiment, it is fierce, it is clear. It sees suffering and does not turn away. It sees fear and remains soft. It sees delusion and remains silent, grounded, patient. And here's the greatest secret: you cannot cultivate mindfulness without also cultivating love. They arise together like the left and right wing of the same bird. And when you begin to live in this way, you become different, not because you try to be, but because you cannot help it. You will eat slower, speak softer, listen longer. You will begin to notice the space between things, the light behind people's words, the grief beneath their anger, the holiness in an ordinary afternoon. And this is how you heal the world, not through shouting, but through your silent, unwavering presence. That kind of presence is contagious. It invites others into their own stillness. It reminds them of what they forgot. It says, it is safe now. You can come home to yourself. So breathe again. Feel your body. Observe your feelings. Witness your thoughts. And watch how the whole world becomes a meditation. The Buddha did not escape the world. He walked through it with eyes wide open, with a heart wide open, with presence like a mountain and gentleness like a river. And now, so will you, because you are not here just to be mindful during practice. You are here to become mindfulness itself, a walking, breathing embodiment of awareness, and through you, others will awaken. This is the way. This is the Dharma. And in the next section, we will begin to explore the heart of compassion, how metta-loving kindness is not a feeling, but a force, a revolution of tenderness that begins with you and touches all beings. But for now, bow to the breath, bow to this moment, bow to your willingness to begin again. You are not behind, you are awakening, and awakening always begins now. The heart that liberates all before words come. Let the silence rise. Let it lift like morning mist from the lake of your soul. Let it reveal what has always been true. Though long forgotten, you were born to love, not the love that clings, not the love that pleads, not the love that hopes for return, but the love that sees through illusion, the love that holds no boundary, the love that asks nothing and gives everything. This is Meditative, loving kindness, the warm, radiant awareness that flows not from wanting, but from knowing. All beings, at their core, seek the same thing: safety, belonging, freedom from suffering. Even those who hurt, even those who wound, even those who cannot see the light, they still carry it. When the Buddha spoke of compassion, he did not mean pity. He meant the fierce, unwavering commitment to meet every being, including yourself, with gentle presence. He meant, stay open, even when the world closes. He meant, let the heart become vast enough to hold even the unlovable. But how do we begin? We begin where all true compassion begins, with the self, not the ego, not the persona, but the tender, weary, precious being who lives behind your eyes. Yes, you who has survived without becoming bitter, you who has questioned deeply, you who has come this far, bruised but still soft. You are worthy of your own love, so take this moment, yes, right now, and place your hand on your heart. not as performance, not as prayer. Feel the warmth of your own body, feel the aliveness of this moment, and silently speak these words within. May I be safe, may I be well, may I be peaceful, may I be free, not if I deserve it, not if I improve, but simply because you are a sentient being in this vast cosmos, and that is enough. Let the words echo like gentle bells across the inner sky. Again, may I be safe, may I be well, may I be peaceful, may I be free. You may feel nothing at first. You may feel resistance. You may feel foolish. This is natural. The heart has been guarded for so long. But practice is how the door begins to open, slowly, with breath, with willingness. And once you have offered love to yourself, you extend it outward like light, moving from the center of a lantern dot to someone you love, to someone you feel neutral toward, to someone who has hurt you. Yes, even them, especially them, because until you can wish freedom for those who harm, you are still bound to their suffering. This is not weakness. This is spiritual rebellion. The Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law. And so, one by one, you begin to say, may they be safe, may they be well, may they be peaceful, may they be free. You do not condone, you do not forget, but you stop carrying the poison, and in doing so, you begin to taste your own freedom, because compassion is not passive, it is power. It is the ability to walk into the fire of suffering, yours or another's, and remain whole. It is the strength to hold a broken world and still sing. It is the courage to love without demand, and that courage lives in you already. You do not need to fabricate it. You only need to uncover it, like a spring beneath the dust, like a flame beneath the ash dot. It has always been there, and when you begin to live from this place, from a heart undivided, you will notice something incredible. Your presence begins to heal without effort, without preaching, without needing to be seen. You will walk into a room and peace will follow. You will listen and others will feel heard. You will sit in silence and others will soften because your field will speak what your mouth does not need to say. You are safe here. You are seen here. You are loved here. This is the path of Meditative. This is what it means to be the Bodhisattva, to delay your own final liberation, so that others may awaken to not because you have to, but because your heart can no longer bear to see another suffer alone. You see, this path is not just about you, it is about all of us, all beings, seen and unseen, human and animal, ancestor and stranger, familiar and forgotten. All of them live within you, and as your compassion expands, yourself becomes less rigid, you become fluid, you become vast, you become one who no longer needs to fight for worthiness because you see it in all things, everywhere, even in the ant, even in the enemy, even in the breath. This is not a philosophy, it is a frequency, it is a state of being, and it is yours. If you choose it, so choose it now. Close your eyes, return to your heart, and let these words fall like gentle rain into your soul. May all beings be safe, may all beings be well, may all beings be peaceful, may all beings be free. Repeat until something shifts. Repeat until the armor begins to crack. Repeat until the river flows again. In the next section, we will explore the nature of emptiness, not as void, but as luminous freedom, a silence that sings, a nothing that is everything. But for now, rest, let compassion do its work. You are not just awakening, you are becoming the ground others will walk upon to find their way. You are the love the world forgot, and now it remembers. The freedom of emptiness. Close your eyes, not to shut out the world, but to feel into its deeper nature, the sound of breath, the weight of the body, the soft rhythm of heartbeat in your chest. Where do these things end and you begin? Can you find the line? Can you point to the place where self begins and other ends? You cannot, because there is none. This is the beginning of wisdom. This is the gate into emptiness. But don't be afraid of the word. In the West, emptiness often sounds cold, like absence, like meaninglessness. But in the Dharma, emptiness is not the absence of meaning. It is the absence of separation, the absence of fixed identity, the absence of rigid borders between what is me and not me. The Buddha taught that all things are empty, not of existence, but of solidity. You are not a thing. You are a process, a dance, a verb disguised as a noun. You are not who you were a moment ago. You will not be who you are in the next breath, and yet you are always here. Isn't that a mystery? And here lies the freedom. When you see that you are not fixed, You no longer need to defend yourself. When you see that everything is impermanent, you stop clinging. When you see that your thoughts are not you, you begin to let them pass, without panic. This is the liberation hidden in emptiness. It is not a void. It is vastness. It is not cold. It is clear. It is the sky, not the storm. It is the field from which compassion grows. It is the space that allows all things to arise and dissolve with grace. You see, when we cling to solidity, we suffer. We believe we are our pain. We believe we are our past. We believe others must behave a certain way to make us feel safe. But emptiness loosens the knot. Emptiness says, you are more than what can be defined, more than the roles you play, more than the mistakes you've made, more than the mistakes you've made, more than the image you try to protect. And once you stop trying to be someone, you discover the spacious joy of simply being. This does not make you disappear. It makes you more present, because now you are no longer consumed by defending an identity. You are free to respond to life in real time. You become adaptable, responsive, spontaneous, alive. The Zen masters speak often of this quality, moving like a stream, bending like bamboo, laughing like children, not because they are frivolous, but because they are free. They have let go of the illusion of control, the burden of being right, the endless project of becoming. And in that letting go, joy returns, not pleasure, not escape. Joy pure, radiant, ever-present awareness without clinging. This is the treasure hidden in emptiness. But this treasure cannot be possessed. It can only be experienced, and to experience it, we must be willing to sit with the discomfort of not knowing. To drop our stories. To open to the mystery. To rest in groundlessness. The Tibetan teachers call this the open dimension of being. Imagine walking through your life without the need to grasp at each passing thought. Imagine looking at another being, not as separate, not as a concept, but as a fluid field of changing energy, just like you. Imagine not taking anything personally, because you understand that everything arises due to causes and conditions, none of which are ultimately you. This is not indifference. This is the birth of radical compassion. When there is no fixed self, there is no enemy. When there is no ego, there is no battle to win. When there is only presence, there is only peace. And in that peace, you become a vessel, not a person seeking enlightenment, but a field through which enlightenment expresses itself. Just like a wave does not need to claim the ocean, you no longer need to claim your existence. You simply are, and that is enough. This is the great letting go. This is the noble return, not to something but to what always was. The great Zen koan asks, what is your original face? Before your mother and father were born, sit with that question. Let it melt, every image, every identity, every label you've ever worn, and in the silence that remains, you will find not emptiness, but everything. The trees, the stars, the sounds, the wind, the sorrow, the joy, the grief. All of it, within you. Not as possessions, as presence. This is the meaning of interbeing. Thich Nhat Hanh once wrote, you are me, and I am you. Is it not obvious that we are in this together? We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the waves of one sea. So breathe like a mountain. Rest like a lake. Open like the sky. You do not need to become enlightened. You only need to recognize that enlightenment is your nature. It has been obscured by clinging, but now it is being revealed by stillness. This is the paradox. When you stop trying to exist as a separate self, you begin to truly live. And in that living, wisdom arises. Compassion expands, and the self becomes the whole. In the next section, we will walk into the teachings on karma, not as superstition, but as sacred law, the rhythm of intention, and how your life is being sculpted by each moment of choice. But for now, be empty. And in your emptiness, you will find that you lack nothing. You are the field, you are the flame, you are the silence, and you are free. The law that listens. Take a moment. Close your eyes gently. Let your shoulders drop. Let the breath move in and out, not controlled, just observed. Let yourself feel the weight of this moment. There is something unseen that has carried you here, something older than memory, something precise yet immeasurable, something wise yet silent. It is not fate. It is not punishment. It is not reward. It is karma, not the karma of pop culture, not the karma of vengeance, but the sacred, elegant principle of cause and effect, of intention and echo, of seed and fruit. The Buddha taught, Beings are owners of their karma, heirs of their karma, born of their karma, related through their karma, and live supported by their karma. Everything you do, everything you think, everything you say, leaves an imprint, not just on the world but on you, on your mind stream, on your future, on your path. Karma is not judgment. It is reflection. It reflects what you have sown without bias, without favoritism, without opinion. Karma does not ask, did you mean well? It asks only, what did you plant? Because even good seeds take time. Even good intentions, if clouded by attachment, can bear strange fruit. So we are asked to look not only at what we do but why we do it. This is the path of conscious karma. 2. Become aware, not just of behavior, but of motivation, to begin seeing that every moment is a brushstroke painting the next dot. This is not frightening, this is freeing, because karma is not only the reason for your pain, it is also the key to your liberation. The same law that bound you in old patterns is the same law that can set you free. If you sow presence, you will reap clarity. If you sow forgiveness, you will reap peace. If you sow compassion, you will walk in a world that begins to echo it back to you. This is not magic, this is law, and this law is compassionate. It gives you what you practice not to punish, but to show you, over and over, gently and fiercely, until you learn. What you resent will return, what you grasp will slip away, what you fear will visit again, until you greet it with love. This is how karma teaches, through mirrors, through recurrence, through patterns that seem to loop until you wake up, and when you do, the pattern begins to dissolve, like fog burning off in morning light. Because now, you are no longer a sleepwalker in your life, you are a sculptor, and each thought is a tool, each word is a chisel, each act is a vow. So ask yourself, what are you creating with your mind? What are you affirming with your choices? What are you teaching the universe to bring to your door? Not with guilt, with gentleness, because this is a long journey, and you are not here to master it in one day. You are here to walk it moment by moment, breath by breath, and the more conscious you become of karma, the more empowered you become in your life, because you no longer blame, you no longer wait for someone else to change, you no longer feel like a victim of circumstance. You begin to see, I created this and I can uncreate it. I invited this and I can release it. I believed this and I can now choose truth. This is not a burden, it is a gift. It is the ultimate empowerment, because karma whispers, you are not stuck, you are just repeating. And repetition can be re-patterned, but not through force, through mindfulness, through attention, through love. So take a breath now, and remember something essential. You are planting seeds with every glance, every silence, every response, every thought you feed, every judgment you repeat, every kindness you offer. The garden is always growing. You cannot stop sowing, but you can begin to sow with intention. What kind of garden do you want your life to become? Do you want peace? Then plant it even when you're angry. Do you want love? Then give it even when you're afraid. Do you want freedom? Then choose truth even when it costs you comfort. This is the karma of awakening. It is not instant. It is not glamorous. It is not glamorous, but it is real. And when you align with it, you begin to walk with power. Not the power to dominate, but the power to choose, the power to pause before reacting, the power to smile before judging, the power to bow before resisting. And in that space, the wheel of karma begins to turn more slowly, until eventually, it stops spinning you in circles, and begins to carry you forward into new realms of consciousness. This is how we evolve, not by force, but by fidelity to the smallest moments, because the next life is born in this one, and the next moment is shaped by this thought. So bless your thoughts, bless your hands, bless your voice, make them sacred, make them steady, make them seeds of light. In the next section, we will journey into the fire of right speech, how your words build or destroy karma, and how sacred speech can become a vehicle for liberation. But for now, let karma speak. It has always been listening. Now you are too. The sacred power of speech. Be still for a moment. Place your hand over your throat. Feel the pulse, the soft vibration behind the breath. This is where sound becomes form, where invisible thought takes shape and becomes a ripple in the world. This is the power of speech. So often we think of our words as casual, forgettable, fleeting, but they are not. Words are seeds. Words are spells. Words are instruments of karma. They can heal. They can harm, they can liberate, they can bind, they can summon peace or stir suffering. And the question is never, do your words matter? The question is, what are your words creating? The Buddha named right speech as one of the core limbs of the Eightfold Path, because the tongue, though small, holds great power, and he offered 4 keys to speech that is aligned with the Dharma. Speak truthfully, speak kindly, speak meaningfully, speak at the right time. These 4 gateways are not rules, they are revelations. Each one is a door to mindfulness. Each one is a choice. Will I use this moment to build peace or to destroy it? Because words are not just noise, they are energy. They do not disappear. They leave imprints in others and on you. When you lie, even if no one else knows, your mind does. When you gossip, even if no one hears, your own heart contracts. When you speak harshly, even to yourself, the vibration echoes inward and outward. This is not about perfection. It is about awareness. That is about seeing your speech as part of your practice, not separate from it. When you speak with mindfulness, your words become medicine. You begin to speak only what is needed. You begin to listen more than you talk. You begin to choose silence not as avoidance, but as reverence, because sometimes silence is the most honest thing we can offer. The Zen tradition says, before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Pause with that. How many words pass all 3 gates? How often do we speak just to fill the space, to be heard, to prove something, to ease our discomfort? But what if speech became sacred again? What if your words were offerings, not weapons? What if you began each day with the intention, may my words bring peace? That alone can change your entire life, because what you speak, you strengthen. If you speak of fear, you strengthen fear. If you speak of compassion, you strengthen compassion. If you speak of division, you widen the gap. If you speak of unity, you close it. So today, what will your voice echo? Begin now. Start with yourself. How do you speak to yourself when you're alone? What do you say when you make a mistake? What do you whisper in the silence of shame? These words matter most, because you are listening. Always, and your nervous system, your spirit, your karma, absorbs it all. So begin here. May your inner voice become a friend. May your speech to yourself be gentle, honest, and forgiving. And from that well of tenderness, speak to others, not perfectly, but purely. Pause before you answer. Let your words emerge from presence, not reactivity. Let them flow from clarity, not performance. And when you are unsure, let silence carry the message. There is no hurry. Sacred speech does not rush. It arises, like mist from still water. Slow, transparent, alive. Let your voice become a blessing. Speak encouragement to the weary. Speak clarity to the confused. Speak forgiveness to the wounded. Speak truth to the fearful. And when necessary, speak firm boundaries, but always with compassion. This is the path of the Bodhisattva's voice. It does not cut for pleasure. It cuts only what binds, and even then, with love. So breathe now. Feel the breath enter your throat. Feel the space behind your mouth. Let your body remember, speech is sacred. When you speak from love, even silence listens. When you speak from truth, even the ego bows. And when you speak from stillness, your words carry the resonance of awakening. This is how the Dharma moves, not only in temples, but in kitchens, in sidewalks, in passing greetings, in late-night calls. Every word is a chance to return. To remind. To remember. To remember. Speak slowly. Speak truth. Speak as if the universe were listening, because it is. And in your next conversation, remember, your words shape the moment. May they shape it with grace. In the next section, we will explore the role of right action, not only what we do, but how we do it. How our very movement becomes an expression of awakening. But for now, be still. Let silence bless your voice. You are not just here to speak, you are here to sing peace into being. The path your body walks, let your body settle. Feel the weight of your hands. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the stillness rising around your skin like a gentle wind. Before action comes stillness. Before doing comes being. And when being is pure, action becomes sacred. In the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha speaks of right action, not as morality imposed from outside, but as a natural blossoming of inner clarity. Right action means this: to live in such a way that no being is harmed by your presence, to live so that your footsteps leave peace behind them, to live so that your choices do not Betray your heart. This is not a rule, it is an invitation, because you are already choosing every day. Every glance, every purchase, every gesture, every touch. The question is not, will I act? The question is, will my actions reflect who I truly am? The Buddha identified 3 pillars of right action. Do not kill, do not steal, do not misuse sensuality, but go deeper. To not kill means more than not ending a life. It means to cherish life, to honor the sacredness in all beings, including those you do not understand. It means to tread lightly, not just on grass, but on hearts. It means to recognize that even your thoughts have energy, and that to condemn in the mind is a form of violence. And what of stealing? To not steal is not just about possessions. It is to not take what has not been freely offered. It is to not extract more than you give. It is to not consume without gratitude. It is to not demand from life what you are unwilling to serve. And sensual misconduct, it is not suppression, it is reverence. It is the recognition that pleasure is holy, but never to be used as escape or manipulation. It is the remembrance that bodhis are temples, not trophies. That affection is sacred, not transactional. That connection is meant to awaken, not numb. These are not moral commandments, they are harmonies. When your actions align with these truths, your life begins to sing. You sleep lighter, you move slower, you look others in the eye without guilt, because your hands are clean, not from fear of punishment, but from reverence for life. Right action asks this: are you aligned? Do your actions match your prayers? Do your choices reflect your heart? Do your habits serve your higher self? Let this not become burden. Let it become practice. Begin small. Let each action be a ritual. When you drink water, pause, feel it, bless it. When you walk, let your feet touch the ground, as if kissing it. When you speak, let your mouth be an offering. When you create, let your work uplift, not exploit. When you rest, let it be full, not guilty. When you give, let it be without performance. When you touch, let it be with presence. This is what makes a life sacred. Not just what you believe, but what you embody. And if you falter and you will, do not shame yourself. Return. Right action is not about perfection. It is about remembering. You will forget. You will act from ego. You will hurt others, sometimes unknowingly. But the awakened one does not cling to guilt. The awakened one bows and begins again. Because action, too, is karma. And every moment is a new brushstroke. There is no stain that cannot be turned into art. Let your life become that art. Let it reflect your deepest knowing. Let it reflect your softest truth. Right action is also right relationship. How you move through the world, how you care for others, how you show up, how you offer this to is practice. You cannot separate your spiritual life from your daily life. The way you greet a stranger, the way you clean your space, the way you hold your silence when others shout, these are all temples. These are all dharma, because the awakened do not act from impulse, they act from impulse, and alignment begins within. So ask now, what does my life express? Do my movements bless the earth? Do my patterns mirror my purpose? Do my choices ripple with peace? And if the answer is no, then gently begin again. No blame. Just return. The body is your instrument. Let it be tuned to truth. Let it become an extension of compassion. Let it move in rhythm with awakening. In the next section, we will explore right livelihood, how the way you serve the world can be a spiritual offering, not a transaction. But for now, move slowly. Let your actions be your practice. Let your body be your mantra. Let your life become a prayer, turning your work into a sacred offering. Pause here. Breathe in, not to fuel urgency, but to return to stillness. Breathe out, not to escape, but to deepen into what is real. Feel the rhythm of your heart. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the subtle question that begins to rise in your chest. How shall I serve? Not just how shall I survive? Not how shall I earn? But how shall I serve? This is the heart of right livelihood, a way of living that does not separate your spirituality from your work, a way of contributing to the world that does not leave your soul at the door, a way of earning that does not cost your integrity. You are not just a worker, you are not just a provider, you are a vessel of presence. And when your hands move in alignment with truth, when your gifts are given with compassion, when your energy supports the liberation of others, your life becomes a Dharma offering. Buddha taught that right livelihood is one of the pillars of the Eightfold Path, and he defined it simply: do not earn your living in ways that cause harm to other beings. Do not trade in weapons. Do not deal in intoxication. Do not profit from deception or exploitation. Do not cause suffering for the sake of gain. But we must go deeper, because this is not just about what we avoid, it is about what we build. Right livelihood is the question. What is the fruit of my labor? Does my work bring peace to others? Does it reflect my deepest values? Does it uplift or deplete? Does it wake me up, or numb me out? You may not feel like your work is spiritual. Perhaps you sweep floors. Perhaps you care for children. Perhaps you write emails, lift boxes, serve coffee, answer phones. But in the eyes of the Dharma, there is no such thing as ordinary work. There is only presence or absence. If you sweep with awareness, with love, with devotion, it becomes holy. If you write with kindness, if you speak with compassion, if you serve with humility, your work becomes practice. This is not about career. It is about karma. Every moment you give yourself with sincerity. Every moment you hold someone else's suffering without judgment. Every moment you speak, or build, or care, or offer with full attention, you are practicing right livelihood, and in doing so, your work becomes your path. But it takes courage to ask, is this still aligned? Courage to step away from jobs that harm your spirit. Courage to leave systems that exploit, to speak truth in places of silence, to seek work that honors life. And perhaps, right now, you are not in a position to leave your current job. That is okay. This path does not begin with quitting, it begins with inquiry. It begins with asking, how can I bring light into what I already do? Can I serve more gently? Can I listen more deeply? Can I move more slowly? Can I treat even the smallest task as sacred? Because transformation does not require a change of setting, it requires a change of consciousness. When you bring presence into your labor becomes love, and over time, that love begins to shift your path. The universe listens to intention. When your heart whispers, I long to serve in alignment, doors will begin to open. The right people will arrive. The right opportunities will begin to form. You do not need to force it. You need only to walk in integrity. Right livelihood also asks, what do I refuse to be part of? Because to align with Dharma means sometimes saying no. No to greed, no to deception, no to manipulation, even if it benefits you. It is not always easy, but right livelihood is not about ease, it is about alignment. And alignment brings peace, deep, soul-level peace, not the peace of having everything, the peace of not betraying yourself. And that peace is priceless. It cannot be bought, it cannot be faked. It is the kind of peace that lets you rest fully at night, because you know, I have not harmed, I have shown up with sincerity. I have offered what I could, from the core of who I am. Let this be your aspiration, that whatever your hands touch today becomes a blessing, that whatever your words offer today carries the frequency of care, that whatever your work is visible or hidden, praised or ignored, it becomes an altar, because you are not here just to earn a living, you are here to make your living a sacred path. In the next section, we will step into right effort, the effort of striving, but the effort of devotion, the energy of discipline that flows not from fear, but from love. But for now, bow to the work you've already done, bow to the hands that have served, bow to the longing in your heart to align. You are not just working, you are remembering, you are offering, you are walking in right livelihood, the energy of devotion. Take one full breath now, not as a task, as a gift. Feel the inhale rise like dawn, feel the exhale soften like dusk. Let your body return to ease, to trust, to the simple knowing that you are here and that is enough. So much of life is rushed, so much of life is pushed, but this path, this Dharma, invites a different rhythm. It invites sacred effort, not the effort of grinding teeth, of clenched fists, of chasing some distant prize, but the effort of water moving over stone, the effort of roots reaching toward light, the effort of the heart beating simply because it must. Right effort is not about forcing, it is about aligning. It is not the energy of anxiety, it is the energy of love. The Buddha defined right effort in fourfold: to prevent the arising of unwholesome states, to abandon unwholesome states that have arisen, to cultivate wholesome states that have not yet arisen, to sustain and strengthen wholesome states already present. This is the gentle discipline of the awakened, a way of tending to the garden of the heart with wisdom, because your mind is not your enemy, it is your field, and each moment you are planting something. So what are you growing? Are you feeding resentment? Are you watering fear? Are you harvesting habits that dim your light? Or are you gently, patiently, quietly cultivating joy, compassion, clarity? This is the effort that frees you not instantly, but steadily. Because right effort is about consistency, like a bell rung daily in a mountain temple, like a single candle lit again each night before meditation. It is the effort that whispers, I return. No matter how many times I forget, I return. No matter how many times I fall, I rise. No matter how dark the mind becomes, I open again. This is not punishment, it is practice. The flower does not bloom by force but by patience, by presence, by silent faith in the light. So do not be harsh with yourself. You will forget, you will get lost, you will drift into distraction and doubt. That is not failure. That is the path. Right effort is not about never falling. It is about returning every time you do it. It is about watching the mind wander and choosing again to bring it back to breath, to now, to truth. It is about noticing the rise of anger and choosing, again, to respond with stillness. It is about seeing craving begin to tighten its grip and choosing again to release it. Effort is sacred because it reveals your devotion, not to results, but to presence. You begin to practice not because you want to feel peaceful, but because the practice itself is an act of love. You begin to meditate not for escape, but to return home. You begin to pause before speaking, not because you fear saying the wrong thing, but because silence is now holy to you. This is the transformation. Effort no longer feels like obligation. It begins to feel like prayer. And through this steady prayer of practice, the mind becomes purified, like muddy water slowly settling into still clarity. And with that clarity, you begin to act, not from habit, but from truth. Because the greatest effort is the effort to remain awake, to not fall back into autopilot, to not lose yourself in the endless spin of distraction, desire, and delusion, but to remember, I am here. To remember this moment is enough. To remember, my practice is my gift to the world. Because when you live with right effort, others feel it. They may not know why, but they feel safer around you. They feel calmer, more present, because your discipline radiates peace, not pressure. It creates stillness wherever you go. That is the fruit of sustained effort, not success, not enlightenment as a goal, but embodiment. You become the teaching, you become the field, and your presence becomes an invitation for others to return as well. So take a breath now and whisper to yourself, I will not rush, I will not force, I will not abandon myself. I will move with devotion, I will return with kindness. I will live in steady remembrance, because right effort is the bridge between wisdom and embodiment, and you are now walking that bridge. In the next section, we will open into right mindfulness, the radiant awareness that sees clearly, loves deeply, and transforms the ordinary into the sacred. But for now, rest in the knowledge that your effort is enough, your path is unfolding, and your devotion is heard. The light that watches without judgment. Take this breath like you've never breathed before, not with tension, not with control. Let it arrive, like a guest. Let it leave, like a friend. This is the doorway. Right mindfulness is not a technique. It is a way of being. It is the quiet knowing that nothing is outside of awareness. It is the holy gaze that watches without grabbing. It is the mirror that reflects the world, just as it is, without distortion, without grasping, without fear. In the Noble Eightfold Path, right mindfulness is not optional. It is the thread that ties all other steps together. Without mindfulness, we fall asleep in our life. We repeat patterns. We miss sacred moments. We speak before we listen. We react before we feel. We rush past the now, believing something greater waits elsewhere. But mindfulness says, here is the miracle. Here is the path. Here is the teaching. Right mindfulness is the unwavering presence of heart. It does not need drama to feel alive. It does not need stimulation to find meaning. It finds holiness in the breath, in the body, in the brush of wind on the cheek. The Buddha described mindfulness as the direct path to liberation. Why? Because it reveals everything. It shows you the root of suffering as it arises. It reveals craving before it becomes action. It shows anger before it erupts. As words dart, it allows you to catch the spark before the fire. And in that sacred pause, you find freedom. You are no longer a puppet to your habits. You become the one who sees, and that seeing is the beginning of liberation. But mindfulness is not passive. It is not watching from a distance. It is intimate. It is the mother watching her child's breath at night. It is the lover memorizing the lines of a face. It is full attention, soaked in compassion. Right mindfulness is not cold. It is warm with awareness. It is soft with presence. It does not judge what it sees, it welcomes. When grief arises, it bows, I see you. When joy arises, it smiles, I welcome you. When fear arrives, it sits beside it. You, too, are part of this. This is what makes mindfulness different from thought. Mindfulness does not label that it listens. It says, let me feel all of this. Let me be present for the whole of life. Because life is not meant to be managed, it is meant to be lived. And mindfulness is how we live it fully. When you eat, just eat. Taste the texture. Bless the gift. Chew with reverence. When you walk, just walk. Feel the ground receive you. Feel the breath rise. Let the body be your teacher. When you wash the dishes, just wash. The warmth of water. The glint of reflection. The rhythm of hands in flow. These are not distractions from practice. These are the practice. Mindfulness turns life into a meditation. It dissolves the barrier between sacred and ordinary. Because when you are fully here, all things become sacred. And yet, mindfulness is also the great protector. When you are mindful, you do not spill pain onto others. You do not inherit emotions blindly. You do not believe every thought you think. You begin to witness. To watch the mind. Like a sky watches clouds. And in that witnessing, space is born. And in that space, transformation happens. So do not underestimate this path. One moment of true mindfulness can save you hours of regret. One breath of conscious presence can break a cycle of unconscious pain. One glance fully seen can remind someone that they belong. Right. Mindfulness also teaches that all things arise and pass. It helps us hold joy lightly. It helps us hold pain gently. It helps us love without clinging and let go without fear. Because when you are present, you do not need to hold on. You are not chasing the next moment. You are not resisting this one. You are here, and that is enough. Right. Mindfulness is not practiced only on a cushion. It is practiced in traffic, in grief, in conflict, in laughter. It is not something you do. It is someone you become. And as mindfulness deepens, you begin to notice something beautiful. The silence within becomes louder than the noise without. The stillness inside becomes stronger than the storm outside, and you realize you are not your thoughts. You are not your stories. You are not even your emotions. You are the one who sees. And the one who sees is vast, open, luminous, free. This is why we practice, not to escape life, but to return to it, not to feel good, but to feel whole, not to become someone, but to remember who you've always been. So breathe now, feel the breath rise. Feel the breath fall. Let this be your temple. Let this be your prayer. Let this be your home. In the next section, we will explore right concentration, not as forced focus, but as absorption into peace. The gathering of the mind like a flame that does not flicker. But for now, be still, be present, be mindful. You are here, and that is the gateway. The flame that does not flicker. Close your eyes gently. Let the breath slow. Let the world soften. Let all striving dissolve now. No need to reach, no need to fix, no need to understand. Just be here. The ripples of the pond are settling. The dust of the day is falling. And what begins to reveal itself is Samdi right concentration. Not tightness, not effort, not the strain of holding attention by force, but the gentle resting of the mind in its natural home. Like a bird returning to its nest. Like a flame protected from wind. Like a river no longer rushing. The Buddha called right concentration the gathering of the mind into stillness. It is the focusing of awareness not through pressure, but through love. It is the unification of heart and breath and presence into one clear stream. When concentration deepens, everything unnecessary falls away, and what remains is luminous. You begin to notice there is peace beneath the thoughts. There is space beneath sensation. There is presence beneath pain. This is not escape, this is arrival. Concentration, in its true form, is absorption into the moment, into awareness, into the sacred. Not trance. Not shut down, but heightened aliveness. You begin to feel the subtle body. You begin to hear silence as a sound. You begin to sense your being, not as a boundary but as a field. In the Buddhist path, right concentration is often spoken of in terms of jhanas, deep states of meditative absorption. Each jhana, or level, is deeper, quieter, more subtle. In the first, joy arises. In the second, joy settles into ease. In the third, even pleasure softens into equanimity. And in the fourth, only stillness remains radiant and vast. But you need not know the names. You need only to taste it. You need only to practice. Sit, close the eyes, let breath come and go. Anchor awareness gently to one object, a breath, a mantra, a flame, a sound, and return again and again. When thoughts come, bow to them. When distractions arise, do not fight, let them pass like clouds and return. The power of concentration is not in the sharpness, it is in the returning, over and over, with gentleness, with humility. This is what trains the mind to stay present when things are uncomfortable, to stay soft when others are hard, to stay still when the world spins. Right concentration is the ground of insight. When the mind is still, you begin to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. Illusion fades, ego loosens, truth shines. You begin to perceive the world without filters, without stories, without fear, and that clear seeing is freedom. But this is not something you master, it is something you allow. It cannot be forced, it must be invited. So create the space, honor the silence. Let meditation become a refuge, not a duty. Do not seek experience, seek presence. Do not chase light. Be still, and light will find you. And what is gained? You gain the power to respond instead of react. You gain the gift of patience. You gain the wisdom to speak when needed, and the peace to remain silent when not. You gain yourself undistracted, undivided. This is the gift of right concentration. You no longer need to escape. You are at home within your own awareness, and when others are in your presence, they will feel it, because stillness speaks. It calms the room. It softens the edges. It invites others to exhale. So practice not for yourself alone. Practice so that your mind becomes a sanctuary for the world. Let your gaze become a mirror. Let your stillness become shelter. Let your attention become prayer. And if your mind wanders, return. And if you forget, return. And if you doubt, return. Because every return is an act of awakening. And awakening is not somewhere you reach. It is who you are when you are fully here. So rest, here, now. In the quiet, no need to add anything. Let the mind be the sky. Let awareness be the light. Let concentration be the flame that does not flicker. In the next section, we will prepare the soul for integration, where the path becomes embodied, where inner wisdom begins to dance in daily life. But for now, sit, be still. You are the silence the world has been waiting to hear. When the practice walks with you, take a soft breath, not to descend into stillness, but to rise from it. You have journeyed inward, into silence, into presence, into the truth beyond words. You have touched the ground of being. You have glimpsed the space where nothing lacks, where nothing needs. And now, it is time to return, not to leave the sacred, but to carry it with you. This is integration, the art of living what you've remembered, of moving through the world with the inner flame, still lit, of walking among noise without losing your silence, of holding pain without closing your heart. This is the final gift of the Eightfold Path, not a step, but a spiral. The invitation to weave wisdom into every breath, into every choice, into every room you enter. You see, the point was never to become a monk on a mountain. The point was to remember who you are in the middle of your life, at work, in traffic, in loss, in love. Can you carry stillness into your conversations? Can you remember the breath when tension arises? Can you hear suffering in another's voice and not look away? This is the real test, not how long you can sit in meditation, but how wide your heart stays when life does not go as planned. So many think awakening is the end, but it is the beginning, because now you begin to live differently, not because of effort, but because of embodiment. Compassion is no longer an idea. It flows from your eyes when you listen. Mindfulness is no longer a technique. It lives in your hands when you wash the dishes. Right speech becomes the tone of your voice. Right action becomes the pause before you react. Right view becomes the lens through which you forgive. This is integration, and it is slow. It is sacred. It is often invisible. You may not get credit for it. You may not feel like anything has changed, but the people around you will begin to soften. The rooms you enter will begin to shift. The spaces you touch will begin to hold light, because awakened presence is contagious. It moves without sound. It heals without fanfare. it awakens, without preaching, so trust the quiet work, trust the silent practice. Trust that the hours you spent in stillness have changed something permanent, not in the world first but in you. Your nervous system is quieter, your judgments are fewer, your breath is deeper, your eyes hold more mercy, and so, integration means one thing: live the truth you touched, even if imperfectly, even if clumsily, even if others don't understand. This is the Bodhisattva vow to return not just for your freedom, but for the freedom of all. You walk the world not as a superior, but as a servant of light. You no longer need to change people. You no longer need to fix the world. You simply become the space where transformation is possible. And when people enter that space, they begin to remember who they are. 2. This is how the Dharma spreads, not by force. But by flame. So look now at your life. At your habits. At your relationships. At your work. Ask softly, how can I live what I've remembered? Not in grand gestures but in micro movements. How you speak to the one who disagrees. How you rise when no one is watching. How you hold the silence in between someone else's words. This is your new practice, not separate from life, but as life. Because every moment is an altar. Every gesture is a sutra. Every breath is a bell. The retreat is ending, but the path is just beginning. And the path is wherever you are. You are the monastery now. You are the temple. You are the one carrying the teachings, not in a book, but in your bones. And when you forget, return. When you fall, rise. When you fail, forgive. Because integration is not perfection. It is the sacred rhythm of remembering and returning. Over and over. Until even your forgetting becomes part of your practice. And the final gift, peace, not as an escape, but as your new default. You return to it the way waves return to shore, again and again. In the next and final section, we will complete this sacred journey with a ritual of awakening, your gentle opening, for those whose hearts are ready to receive their calling, to walk their path with sacred confidence and quiet knowing. But for now, bow. To the journey you have walked, to the breath you have followed, to the truth you are becoming. You are not practicing anymore, are living the practice, the ritual of remembrance. Close your eyes gently, not to shut the world out, but to return fully to the place you never left. This moment is not ordinary. This breath is not random. This presence is not accidental. If you have arrived here, if you have stayed through all 15 steps of the sacred path, if you have followed the Dharma through stillness, effort, speech, silence, surrender, and devotion, then know this: you are not simply watching a video. You are remembering a vow made long before this lifetime. A vow carved into your spirit across lifetimes of seeking. The vow to awaken not just for your sake, but for the sake of all beings. And now, that vow is ready to be fulfilled. This is not metaphor. This is your moment of remembering. You are not here to be small. You are not here to be safe. You are not here to accumulate, to shrink, to repeat. You are here to become the living Dharma. To be a flame in a time of forgetting, to be stillness in a time of noise, to be clarity in a time of confusion. You are not a seeker anymore. You are a wayshower. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. And so, before we close, we do not end, we activate. Let this be a moment of conscious transmission. Let this be your inner ritual of awakening. Let it begin now. If you can, place both palms over your heart. Feel the warmth of your body. Feel the quiet thrum of your life force, and silently say, I remember. I remember who I am. I remember why I came. I remember the truth I carry. I remember the love I am here to live. Take one full breath in through the nose and out the mouth. Let it carry the dust away. Let it cleanse the mind. Let it awaken the energy dormant in your soul. And now, offer the sacred vow, out loud or silently, with full presence. May my life be of benefit. May my presence bring peace. May my path serve the liberation of all beings. May I walk with truth, with love, and with unwavering stillness. And now, listen. Feel. Dan. Single quotes to rush this part. For in this silence, something ancient begins to shift, not outside. Within, the seal of the vow is awakening, and from this moment forward, you no longer walk alone. You walk with the Dharma behind you. You walk with countless awakened ones beside you. You walk with the blessings of all who came before, and the hopes of all who are yet to come. Let this knowing guide you. You are chosen not by favoritism, but by readiness. You are not more worthy than others. You were simply one who is ready to carry the lamp. And now that it is lit within you, go back into your world. But this time, breathe slower, speak softer, stand taller, forgive faster, see deeper. And when others wonder what changed, let your silence answer, let your presence answer, let your presence answer. This was not content. This was not content. This was consecration. This was not entertainment. This was not entertainment. This was initiation. You will never be the same, and the world is waiting for the one you've now remembered yourself to be. So rise now, in body or in spirit, and seal this journey with sacred action. Today, do one thing that reflects your awakening. One gesture, one word, one act of compassion, courage, truth. It does not need to be loud. Only real. That will be enough. That will complete the circle. And when the world feels heavy again, return to breath, to stillness, to the flame that now lives inside you. You are the Dharma walking. You are the silence speaking. You are the remembrance awakening. And now, you are ready. May all beings benefit from your light. May your vow ripple across lifetimes. May your awakening echo through the generations. You are not just a listener. You are the chosen one, and you have remembered.